Okay, using demo and tools to learn CISSP. I'm Chen Zhang, Microsoft Azure MVP. It's our special series running GNS3 on Hyper-V on Azure. It's the part two of the video. And from the previous video, I have already shown you how to install the net network on Hyper-V on Azure to make sure that our virtual machine can access to the internet, or I can say to access to the external network. And from this video, I will show you something very interesting. For my research from the YouTube or the Google, there's no one have already done this. So I don't know. Am I the first to achieve this? But the first we should know it's not recommended, which means what? Just like from the GNS3 official, they support two virtual machine platforms. The first one is VMware workstation, and another one is the virtual box. Because sometimes we set up our lab, the switch, the router, and we need to configure our server. We need to configure our client. Also, we can use this one, the VPCS, the PC emulator from the GNS, but the function is limited, so we have to use our the real machine, no matter it's the Windows or the Linux. So the real machine must be based on the virtualization platform. If you just like most of the videos in the YouTube, they prefer to use the VMware workstation or VirtualBox. But just like me, I I love the Azure, so I think all my resource based on Azure, based on Hyper-V. Although it's not support so good, but we can still achieve this. So let's take a look. First, we should know the GNS separate two parts. The first part is the GNS console, and another part is the GNS server. So from my experience, we have to install the GNS console on the Hyper-V host, also aka the Windows Server, no matter Windows Server 2016, 2019, but also I prefer use the new version. And another thing is to install the GNS server on Hyper-V VM. Why? If we install the GNS server on Hyper-V host, which means we will install the GNS server on Windows Server. If we do this, there will no QEMU and the KVM. Also, there will be no Docker, because if we will use the QEMU VM and the GNS Docker container, both of these are based on the Linux, which means we have to install the GNS server on the Hyper-V VM mode. Okay, let's take a look at our demo. Okay, let's move to our demo environment. We can see here, this is my Hyper-V on Azure, and now we have already started our GNS3 VM. This is also our GNS3 server, and this is our GNS3 console. The GNS3 VM can be downloaded. The VHDX file can be downloaded from GNS3 official website directly and import to our Hyper-V. Then the first step, we need to console to the GNS3 server. Then we need to configure the network. That's our first step, to make sure that our console network, because console installed in the Hyper-V host, so make sure that the console network can ping to our GNS3 VM server. We can take a look. Okay, now to connect. We can also use the PuTTY to SSH to it. Actually, it's Ubuntu VM, and it have already installed the QEMU and also the Docker. We can configure some basic configuration from this console, interactive console. Then we from the GNS3 we set up a project. You see, this is our router. I will not show you how to set up a router, but I need to highlight that if you're in this scenario, the router here, router file, you will have two modes. One choice is to install this router in the server. This is my Hyper-V server. Another one is installed inside the virtual machine, and I highly suggest you unify one mode. From my experience, I prefer to put everything inside my GNS3 VM. So this one is also in, we can take a look. This one is also inside my GNS3. So the GNS3, the memory you should put as much as possible. I set 10 gigabytes here. Now it's the important. You see, we have actually 1, 2, 3, 4. This first is the VPCS, the emulate PC. This one is very tricky. You see the icon is a cloud, but actually it's a switch. Just from my PowerPoint show you, it's the another virtual switch, but this switch is generated by our GNS3. This switch will connect to the GNS network, this internal network directly. So which can make sure that our virtual machine can be connected to the this is connect to our net switch directly. So let me show you again. Once you drag the cloud, it will ask you first to choose a server, and I show you I prefer to unify all components to the VM, and you can right click it. It will give you two choices, but this is not so good. You need to match it. Actually, zero. This two network it get from this, and the first 0 is mapping to the net switch. Another is mapping to our second one, just internal network I created. So don't be confused the name. Okay. And from here, let me delete it. From here, I just connect to the 0. This 0 means the net switch network. Okay, and this one is the Kali from the QEMU KVM VM, and this one is Docker. Let's take a look one by one. The simulator I have already configured the IP address. The 1.3. Let's take a look. Can we ping to the Okay, there you go. And the second one, we should go to our Windows 7. Okay, ping to our gateway, and ping to our 3, and from 3, ping to our 2. Okay, so from this step, we have already connect to our Azure VM to our GNS3 network. Okay, and the third one is our Kali. We first to console it. Okay. It's the live VM, which means I can show you. We should put our live CD, the ISO file, to it, and it will load loaded to our Kali QEMU KVM VM. And the last one is the last one is the Docker. And the Docker, we need to configure the IP address from here, edit it from here. Then we can console ifconfig. Oh, sorry, there's no ifconfig, but we can try to ping. Okay, it connect. Also, we can take a look our console, the GNS3 server console. From here. Okay, from here, we can to the share. Okay, Docker ps-a. It will give us the running container. Okay, actually, it's this one. I see this one, right? Up 8 minutes. Okay, so we have got the emulator, the Hyper-V, the Docker, and to this one. Okay, we can see the first Ethernet is connecting, and we assign the IP address from our Kali GUI. Okay, let's take a look. Can we ping to each other? Let's open our terminal. Maybe the network resource is very limited because we should know that this Kali running on the QEMU KVM and the QEMU KVM running on the Hyper-V VM. The Hyper-V VM NIST, actually, I think it's 3-level NIST, just like the famous movie Inception, right? NIST, NIST, NIST. Okay, let's ping to our gateway. There you go. Let's ping each other. Okay, so now we have already connected to each other. I really hope you can understand this video, what I have already shown you. And I think it's very interesting, combine everything together. That just like case, because in the real production environment, all the function, vendor, product, platform is different. So we need to get the skills and the capability to combine everything together. Okay, so if you have anything unclear, please leave me the comment and I will respond it to you immediately. Thank you for your watching. See you later.